It is the invocation of your inner sovereign, the voice that has long been silent beneath layers of doubt, distraction, and delusion. Today, you stand at the precipice of your own destiny. What separates the man or woman who conquers from the one who languishes is not circumstance nor fortune, but mastery over the self. And mastery begins with a single, immutable truth. If you allow excuses to govern your life, you relinquish your very power to shape reality. Excuses are the chains forged by your own mind, forged from fear, indecision, and the deceptive allure of comfort. They whisper to you that you are powerless, that the tides of emotion must dictate your every move, that the chaos of your thoughts is insurmountable. But hear this, these whispers are lies. The mind that acquiesces to excuse is a mind enslaved. The heart that surrenders to feeling is a heart shackled to defeat. You were not born to be a servant to your emotions or to the tumult of your inner world. You were born to be its master. This mastery is not a gift bestowed by chance. It is a conquest earned by deliberate will. It is the unwavering command to kill the excuses, every last one, and to begin your new life today. Understand first the problem that enslaves the many: emotional reactivity. The average person is a victim of this phenomenon, trapped in the ceaseless cycle of reaction to external circumstances, unable to distinguish between the immediate stirrings of feeling and the sovereign power of conscious choice. When a man or woman reacts impulsively, they forfeit their authority. They become puppets of circumstance, tossed upon the waves of anger, fear, and insecurity. This is the tragedy of the untrained mind. Emotional reactivity is the enemy of success. It is the slow poison that kills ambition, clouds judgment, and drains energy. It demands your attention and loyalty, but offers nothing in return but regret and wasted time. The need for approval is another snare, a desperate grasp for validation from outside sources that only diminishes the inner voice. When your sense of worth depends upon the fickle opinions of others, you become vulnerable to manipulation and lose sight of your own purpose. Your mental landscape becomes a battlefield of doubt and distraction. Mental chaos reigns where clarity should be sovereign. Without a definite purpose, your mind is a ship adrift on stormy seas, at the mercy of every gust and wave. Without discipline, your thoughts scatter like leaves in the wind. Without control, your emotions rise and fall like a tempest, wrecking the calm harbor of your soul. But know this, there is a solution. There always island. It is the path of emotional detachment, not in the sense of coldness or indifference, but in the sense of calm, sovereign control over the inner world. It is the discipline to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming enslaved to them. It is the power to choose your response rather than react blindly. It is the mastery of your own mind, and through it, your destiny. Napoleon Hill, whose wisdom has illuminated the path of countless victors, spoke of the law of mental neutrality, the law that commands you to remain unshaken by the storms of life. To meet triumph and disaster alike with a calm spirit, to refuse the siren call of fear and anger, and to assert your dominion over the impulses that seek to undo you. Consider this principle closely. The power to remain calm in the face of adversity is not merely a virtue, it is a weapon. When you cultivate calmness, you build a fortress around your mind. You create the space to think clearly, to make decisions unclouded by the fog of emotion. The calm mind is the creative mind. It is the engine of success. This calmness is born from emotional detachment, which itself is the product of mental discipline. Mental discipline is the relentless practice of directing your thoughts, refusing the siren call of distraction, and focusing your mental energy on your definiteness of purpose. It is the refusal to let your mind wander into the cesspool of complaints, fears, and excuses. It is the daily exercise of your will to command your thoughts as a general commands his army. Understand the distinction between response and reaction, a principle at the core of all great success. Reaction is immediate, involuntary, and often destructive. It is the lashing out of an untrained mind. Response is deliberate, thoughtful, and constructive. It is the mark of the mental sovereign. When you practice response over reaction, you reclaim the throne of your mind. You become the architect of your experience rather than the victim of circumstance. The principle of thought first demands that you take ownership of your inner narrative. Every great achievement begins as a thought, a seed planted in the fertile soil of your mind. But without care and discipline, this seed is choked by weeds of negativity, distraction, and self-doubt. Therefore, you must become vigilant gardeners of your mind. Weed out the excuses that rob you of time and energy. Water the seed of your purpose with affirmations and focused action. Cultivate the soil of your beliefs with accurate thinking, the practice of seeing reality as it is, not as you fear or wish it to be. Accurate thinking is the antidote to illusion and excuse. It requires you to confront facts without distortion, to question assumptions, and to discard beliefs that serve only to limit your progress. If you allow emotions to govern your actions, you forfeit your power. But if you command your thoughts, you command your future. This command requires more than fleeting effort. It demands a transformation of character. The forging of the steel will necessary to say no to every excuse and yes to the path of greatness. Begin now to kill the excuses that have held you hostage. Refuse to blame circumstances, people, or past failures. The past is a dead weight you are free to cast off. Your future awaits, but only if you seize control of your mind. Take personal initiative. Do not wait for motivation to find you, for motivation is fickle. Discipline yourself to act in spite of feeling, to build habits that enforce mental clarity and emotional neutrality. Know this success is not the result of chance or circumstance, but of deliberate, disciplined thought and action. Every great mind that has ever risen to greatness has walked this path of detachment and discipline. They understood that to control the outer world, they must first conquer the inner. Your new life begins the moment you take full responsibility for your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. Kill the excuses, seize control, command your mind. You must understand that excuses are not merely words, they are betrayals of your own potential. Each excuse spoken or entertained in your mind is a surrender, a tacit agreement that you are less than you truly are. The mind that manufactures excuses is a mind crippled by fear and ignorance, a mind that confuses comfort with security and stagnation with safety. Ask yourself now, what is the price you pay for your excuses? What have they stolen from you? Time, the most precious commodity, wasted in the theater of self-pity. Energy, drained by unnecessary conflicts within your own soul. Opportunity, lost because you hesitated to act or dared not to believe in your own power. The price of excuses is far too high. But the remedy is within your grasp. It begins with definiteness of purpose, the great cornerstone of success. Without purpose, the mind is a rudderless vessel. With purpose, it becomes a sword cutting through the chaos of life. Definiteness of purpose is not a vague hope or a mere wish. It is a burning obsession, a fixed star in the night sky by which you navigate the storms. This clarity of intent anchors your mind and commands your emotions to serve the higher mission rather than disrupt it. When your purpose is definite, your mind organizes itself accordingly. It becomes intolerant of distractions and impervious to the petty disturbances that once unsettled you. Your emotions, once wild and untamed, bend to the discipline demanded by that purpose. Napoleon Hill taught that definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement, that a mind that is stretched by a new idea never returns to its original dimension. So stretch your mind now beyond the narrow bounds of excuses and emotional turmoil to the vast expanse of your untapped potential. In this expanse lies the power to build mental discipline, the fortress of your inner empire. Mental discipline is not merely self-control. It is the architect of your thoughts and emotions, the sculptor of your character. It is forged in the crucible of daily practice, resisting temptation to procrastinate, denying the voice of fear, choosing focus over distraction. Imagine your mind as a great library. What books do you allow to fill its shelves? Do you entertain the literature of defeat and doubt, or do you fill it with volumes of courage, resilience, and relentless ambition? Discipline governs this choice. It determines which thoughts you invite to dwell in your consciousness and which you cast out. With mental discipline comes the ability to master the law of mental neutrality, the sacred principle that teaches you to remain unmoved by praise or criticism, by gain or loss. This law does not demand indifference, but rather a balance that frees you from the tyranny of fluctuating moods. Consider the great minds of history. Those who achieved monumental success were not immune to adversity or emotion, but they possessed the rare ability to rise above the storm, to focus unwaveringly on the task at hand. This is not a coincidence. It is the outcome of mental mastery. To cultivate this mastery, you must begin by observing your thoughts as a detached witness. When anger rises, do not feed it. When fear whispers, do not listen. When doubt creeps in, do not surrender. Practice this daily, for it is a muscle that grows stronger with use. The power of calmness flows naturally from this practice. Calmness is not passive. It is the most active and potent force within you. It clears the fog, sharpens perception, and expands your capacity for sound judgment. When calmness reigns, your creativity surges. Solutions emerge with clarity. Your energy is conserved and directed with precision. To hold this calm, you must learn the principle of thought first, the idea that every external circumstance is preceded by a thought within your mind. Your reality is a reflection of the inner dialogue you maintain. If your thoughts are chaotic and reactive, your life will mirror that chaos. If your thoughts are deliberate and disciplined, your life will be ordered and abundant. You must take responsibility for this inner dialogue. Refuse to let it be hijacked by impulses or external noise. Practice auto-suggestion, the intentional feeding of your subconscious mind with empowering thoughts and affirmations aligned with your purpose. This technique, championed by Hill himself, is not mere repetition. It is the deliberate programming of your deepest self to align with your highest goals. Every time you feed your mind with truth and power, you build the architecture of success. Now, confront the concept of personal initiative. The difference between those who succeed and those who falter lies in the ability to act decisively and immediately regardless of circumstance or emotional state. Excuses delay. Initiative conquers. Success favors the one who moves first, who takes responsibility before being asked, who acts without waiting for perfect conditions. Remember this, the mind that hesitates is lost. You must kill the excuses that whisper, "I will start tomorrow. I am not ready. I need more time." These are the lies that keep you chained. Your new life cannot wait for permission. It cannot be scheduled for a more convenient season. It begins now. The battlefield of your inner world is where the greatest victory will be won or lost. External challenges pale in comparison to the internal war between discipline and distraction, clarity and confusion, control and chaos. Master this battlefield, and the outer world will bow to your command. Do not deceive yourself into thinking that emotional detachment means absence of passion. On the contrary, it is passion refined and focused, not scattered and wasted. It is the fire that fuels relentless pursuit without burning down your own foundations. Understand the difference between feeling and acting on feeling. You may feel anger, frustration, or fear, but you must never let these feelings dictate your action. Instead, allow reason and purpose to guide your steps. You become the commander of your soul, the sovereign of your thoughts. This sovereignty grants you peace, not the peace of avoidance or denial, but the peace of absolute control over your inner world. And with this peace comes power, the power to act with clarity, to persevere beyond setbacks, and to win the opportunities that others forfeit. So I ask you, are you willing to kill the excuses that have held you prisoner? Are you prepared to build the fortress of mental discipline that protects your purpose? Are you ready to command your thoughts, master your emotions, and take control of your destiny? The choice is yours. The moment is now. Begin your new life today, not tomorrow, not next week, but this very moment. Stand now as the master of your mind and the architect of your future. You hold the key. Unlock the prison of excuses. Seize the throne of your inner kingdom and go forth to claim the success that is your birthright. Because the man or woman who masters emotional detachment, mental discipline, and inner control is unstoppable. They are invincible. They are the makers of history. Now, to truly comprehend the magnitude of what it means to master your inner world, you must embrace the truth that emotional detachment is not an escape from reality, but a profound engagement with it on your terms. Consider the ancient Stoics. Those sages of old who understood that true power resides not in controlling the uncontrollable external, but in mastering the uncontrollable internal. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This strength is not passive endurance. It is an active, dynamic force that allows the individual to face adversity with equanimity and purpose. Emotional detachment, therefore, is the practice of seeing the world clearly as it is and choosing your response with the deliberate precision of a master strategist. It is not suppression of feeling, it is sovereignty over feeling. To suppress emotions is to bottle a storm that will inevitably burst. To be ruled by them is to be swept away by that storm, but to observe them without surrender is to stand firm in the eye of the hurricane. This distinction is crucial. The modern world tempts you with constant distraction and emotional stimulation, a relentless flood of inputs designed to fragment your attention and enslave your will. You must build the mental discipline to resist this flood. Begin by training your mind in the art of selective attention. Choose what you allow to enter your consciousness and what you exclude. Like a gatekeeper at the fortress, be vigilant in guarding the portals of your mind. Every thought you entertain feeds your character. Every feeling you indulge shapes your habits. Therefore, cultivate the habit of mental cleanliness, the practice of rejecting thoughts that serve no purpose but to weaken and distract. Replace them with thoughts of power, clarity, and unwavering focus on your definite chief aim. Now, let us explore the principle of accurate thinking. Napoleon Hill taught that accurate thinking is the habit of separating facts from fiction and opinion. It requires the mind to function as a scientist functions in a laboratory, observing, measuring, and concluding based on evidence rather than emotion or assumption. Many are imprisoned by false beliefs, illusions fed by fear, envy, and laziness. These illusions manifest as excuses. To free yourself, you must confront reality with brutal honesty. Ask yourself, what are the facts? What is within my control? What lies beyond? By facing these questions squarely, you discard the mental baggage that weighs you down. This clarity of thought is a weapon that cuts through the fog of confusion and indecision. Consider the story of Abraham Lincoln, a man beset by personal tragedy and political opposition. Yet, through relentless accurate thinking and emotional control, he guided a fractured nation through its darkest hours. He did not allow despair to dictate his actions, nor did he cling to false hope. He confronted reality, however grim, and responded with resolute purpose. This is the mark of mental mastery. Next, we return to autosuggestion, the bridge between conscious thought and subconscious conviction. Your subconscious mind is the fertile soil in which the seeds of your thoughts grow. It does not differentiate between truth and falsehood. It simply manifests what is repeatedly impressed upon it. Therefore, be intentional. Feed your subconscious with affirmations of strength, clarity, and purpose. Repeat to yourself daily, I am the master of my emotions. I command my thoughts. I act with discipline and focus. This is not mere repetition. It is the deliberate planting of a new mental architecture, one that supports your highest ambitions. Let these affirmations become the drumbeat that drives your mental army forward. Now, let us turn to the cornerstone of all progress, personal initiative. Initiative is the refusal to wait for permission, the relentless impulse to act in alignment with your purpose despite fear, doubt, or external conditions. Without initiative, your plans remain dreams and your potential untapped. Take the example of Thomas Edison, whose thousands of failed experiments were not excuses but stepping stones. He acted again and again, undeterred by failure or criticism. This same spirit of initiative must reside within you. Do not wait for the perfect moment. It will never come. Do not wait for motivation. It is fleeting. Act now. Act decisively, because each moment wasted in hesitation is an opportunity lost forever. The practice of personal initiative strengthens your mental discipline and reinforces emotional detachment. You become immune to the paralysis of doubt and fear. Your mind becomes a sword, cutting through excuses like a blade through fog. And as you practice this daily, your new life takes shape. You begin to embody the truth that the greatest battles are won within. Your emotional responses become measured. Your thoughts become focused. Your actions become purposeful. You begin to see obstacles as invitations to grow, not as reasons to falter. This transformation is not easy. It demands courage, but it is within your reach, because the mind that commands itself is invincible. You are that mind. Now stand tall in this realization. Reject the lies that tell you otherwise. Kill the excuses. Start your new life today. For the man or woman who masters their inner world masters the outer world. And there is no limit to the success that awaits you. To harness the immense power of your mind, you must cultivate habits that forge mental discipline and emotional detachment as naturally as breathing. These habits are not incidental. They are the lifeblood of the soul determined to conquer itself and the world. Begin each day with the sacred ritual of focus. Before the distractions of the world assail you, claim the first moments of your waking mind to affirm your purpose. Speak to yourself with the authority of a general commanding an army. Declare your intent for the day. See clearly the tasks that will move you closer to your ultimate goal. In this morning discipline, you steel your mind to resist the siren calls of distraction and emotional upheaval. Think of your mind as a garden. If left untended, weeds of worry, doubt, and anger will grow rampant and choke the life from your ambitions. But with consistent, deliberate care, daily mental pruning, your garden blooms with ideas of power, resilience, and clarity. The second habit, control your input. Your mind is a vessel, and what you allow into it shapes your character. The modern world bombards you with noise, sensational headlines, trivial debates, and toxic influences designed to inflame emotions and fracture focus. Protect your mental environment. Choose your books, your conversations, your media, and your company with the discrimination of a master jeweler selecting gems. Surround yourself with that which uplifts, challenges, and sharpens your intellect. Refuse to let garbage pollute your mind. The third habit is deliberate reflection. Each evening, before sleep claims you, take stock of your mental and emotional state. What thoughts dominated your day? Which emotions governed your actions? Where did you falter? Where did you triumph? This practice of self-examination is not self-criticism. It is the compass guiding you toward mastery. It allows you to identify and kill the excuses that creep back, often disguised as reasonable explanations. Imagine a blacksmith forging a blade. Each strike of the hammer shapes the steel, removing imperfections, strengthening its edge. So too does your daily reflection sharpen your mind's resolve and harden your character against weakness. Now understand this essential truth. The power to change your inner world and therefore your outer world lies in the freedom to choose your response to any stimulus. Between stimulus and response, there is a sacred space, a moment of pure potential where your will asserts itself. The individual who seizes this moment, who chooses response over reaction, builds an unbreakable fortress of self-control. When provoked, the reaction is immediate, emotional, and often destructive, but the response is deliberate, calm, and constructive. Train yourself to inhabit this space. Cultivate the habit of pausing, breathing, and recalling your definite purpose before acting. This is the hallmark of the emotionally detached mind. The greatest leaders, innovators, and visionaries of history understood and embodied this principle. They were not immune to adversity or emotion, but they refused to be controlled by either. Consider the life of Nelson Mandela. Imprisoned for decades under brutal conditions, he was subjected to injustice designed to break his spirit, yet he emerged not embittered but composed master of his inner world. His detachment from rage and his disciplined control over his emotions allowed him to lead a nation toward reconciliation and peace. This example teaches us that emotional detachment is the foundation of true power. It is not a denial of feeling, but the conscious choice to transcend destructive emotions and channel energy toward higher goals. Your mind is the commander of your fate. Every thought you nurture, every emotion you allow to grow, shapes the trajectory of your life. Refuse to nurture the weeds of excuse and fear. Instead, plant the seeds of mental discipline, emotional control, and unwavering purpose. Remember the cause and effect principle. If you permit your emotions to govern your actions, you surrender your power and invite chaos. But if you command your thoughts, you command your future. This command requires relentless practice. It requires the courage to confront uncomfortable truths within yourself. It demands that you kill the excuses that masquerade as reasons and embrace the hard road of responsibility and action. No longer will you say, I cannot, I am not ready, or circumstances are against me. Instead, you will say, I am the master of my mind. I am the captain of my soul. This declaration is the genesis of unstoppable success. The new life you seek begins with the death of excuses and the birth of disciplined thought. Take hold of your mind now. Forge your character in the fire of self-mastery. Stand unwavering, calm, and resolute in the face of every storm. For the man or woman who conquers their inner world conquers all else. Your destiny is yours to command. Kill the excuses and start your new life today. The first exercise is mindful observation of thought. Begin by cultivating the habit of watching your thoughts as if you were an impartial observer seated above the turmoil of the mind. Notice when excuses arise, I'm too tired, I don't have enough time, this is too hard. Do not engage with these thoughts. Do not argue with them. Simply observe them and let them pass like clouds across the vast sky of your consciousness. This practice builds a critical distance between you and your mental chatter. It is the foundation of emotional detachment. When you see thoughts as transient phenomena rather than absolute truths, their power over you diminishes. Imagine a general surveying a battlefield from a high vantage point. He sees the movement of enemy forces but remains calm, knowing that he controls his own army's strategy. So too must you rise above your thoughts, choosing which to engage and which to dismiss. The second exercise is the pause before action. In every moment of decision, especially those charged with emotional weight, pause. In this pause lies infinite power. Take a deep breath. Count silently to 3. Ask yourself, is this thought or feeling serving my highest purpose? If it is not, refuse to act on it. This deliberate interruption breaks the cycle of reaction and creates the sacred space where conscious choice flourishes. The third exercise is purposeful affirmation and visualization. Every morning and every evening, affirm your definiteness of purpose with unwavering certainty. Speak to your subconscious mind as a master commands a loyal soldier. See yourself succeeding, overcoming obstacles, and embodying calm strength. Visualization is not daydreaming. It is the mental rehearsal of your future reality. It programs your subconscious to align your emotions and actions toward the achievement of your goals. As Hill declared, what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, but belief must be cultivated daily. The fourth discipline is mental diet control. What you feed your mind becomes you. This means guarding against toxic inputs, sensationalist news, negative conversations, and self-defeating media. Instead, consume knowledge that builds your mind, biographies of great men and women, philosophical texts, teachings on mental mastery, and affirmations of strength. Protect your mental environment as fiercely as you protect your physical health. The fifth exercise is gratitude cultivation. The emotionally detached mind is not cold or unfeeling. It is anchored in a deep appreciation for what island. Gratitude rewires the brain, floods it with positive neurochemicals, and builds resilience against emotional upheaval. Each day, list 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small. This habit counters the mind's natural tendency toward negativity and grounds you in reality rather than excuses. Finally, the sixth discipline is consistent action despite feeling. Motivation is a fleeting spark. Discipline is the steady flame. Commit to acting on your purpose every day, regardless of how you feel. Remember Edison's words, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Act with relentless consistency. In time, your habits will solidify your mental discipline and emotional detachment into an unbreakable fortress. These 6 disciplines, practiced daily, form the architecture of your new life. But beware the enemy that lurks within complacency. Mental mastery is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. You must renew your commitment each morning, sharpen your focus each evening, and patrol your inner gates without cease. No one will do this for you. No one can do this for you. The power is yours alone. Rise now with the authority of a soul that has tasted freedom. Kill the excuses that enslave you. Command your mind. Begin your new life today. Because the future belongs to the mentally sovereign. Because success is reserved for those who master their inner worlds. Because you are ready. Because there is no time like now. Consider the towering figure of Winston Churchill, whose indomitable will carried a nation through the abyss of war. Faced with unimaginable pressure, constant threat, and personal setbacks, Churchill did not succumb to despair or emotional chaos. Instead, he exemplified mental discipline and emotional detachment, choosing, again and again, to respond with resolute calm and strategic clarity. His speeches stirred a broken people to courage not because they promised ease, but because they were forged in the furnace of personal mastery. Churchill understood that willpower is not an abstract virtue. It is the muscle of the mind trained by deliberate practice and unyielding resolve. Similarly, the legendary inventor Nikola Tesla endured years of obscurity, financial ruin, and relentless criticism. Yet, his mind remained a fortress of focus and emotional neutrality. Tesla's will was his weapon, cutting through the distractions and disappointments that would have crushed lesser men. In each case, we see a singular truth. Mastery over one's inner world is the crucible in which greatness is born. Now, reflect on the nature of willpower itself. Willpower is not a mystical force granted by fate. It is a faculty of the mind, the outcome of disciplined habit, clear purpose, and emotional detachment. The will is the captain steering the ship through the storms of doubt and temptation. Without it, the ship drifts aimlessly at the mercy of every wave. But with a strong will, even the fiercest storms are navigated with confidence. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche called willpower the greatest strength within man, the creative force that shapes identity and destiny. Yet Nietzsche warned that will without discipline is mere caprice. To be true power, it must be exercised consistently, with clear purpose and emotional neutrality. This emotional neutrality is not the absence of feeling, but the mastery of feeling. It is the ability to feel deeply, yet remain unshaken, like a mountain standing firm against the howling winds. The soul that masters this art is the soul that commands reality. Remember, your thoughts precede your emotions, and your emotions precede your actions. Control your thoughts. Master your emotions. Direct your actions. Thus, you shape your destiny. The man or woman who fails to cultivate these faculties forfeits control over their life and succumbs to the tyranny of circumstance. But you who listen now, have the opportunity to break this chain. You are the architect of your mind, the sovereign of your spirit. Choose today to build the fortress of willpower. Choose to wield emotional detachment as your shield. Choose mental discipline as your sword. And charge forward into the arena of life with unstoppable force. No longer a victim, no longer a prisoner of excuses, but a master of self and destiny. This is the ultimate truth of success. No external force can stop the person who commands their inner world. This is your birthright. Your destiny calls. Kill the excuses. Seize your will. Master your mind. Start your new life today. You have been given a mind unlike any other, a mind capable of shaping worlds, conquering fear, and commanding destiny. Yet this mind remains dormant without action, scattered without discipline, and weak without emotional mastery. The enemy you face is not outside, it dwells within. The ceaseless whisper of excuses, the seductive pull of comfort, the chaos of unchecked emotion. But you are stronger. You are capable. You are destined for greatness. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not seek permission. Do not plead for motivation. The moment to act is now. Kill the excuses that chain you. Discipline your mind to serve your highest purpose. Detach yourself from the fleeting storms of feeling that seek to unseat your focus. Build your fortress of willpower, brick by brick, thought by thought, action by action. Become the calm in the storm, the captain of your soul, the master of your fate. Success is not a mystery reserved for the chosen few. It is the reward earned by those who refuse to be ruled by emotion, who command their thoughts, and who act with relentless discipline. The new life you crave, the life of freedom, power, and achievement, begins today. Claim it, live it, own it. You are no longer a prisoner of circumstance. You are a creator of destiny. Stand now in your full power and kill the excuses. Start your new life today, because nothing and no one can stop the mind that masters itself. This is your awakening. This is your command. This is your life. To walk this path of mastery, you must embrace an unshakable truth. Nothing external holds power over you unless you allow it. Your mind is the final bastion of control. Outside forces may clash and roar, but your inner world remains inviolable if only you claim it. Every event, every challenge, every slight or setback is but a mirror reflecting your inner state. If your mind is calm, they become mere passing shadows. If your mind is chaotic, they become storms that threaten to consume you. This is why emotional detachment is not cowardice or coldness, but the armor of the strong. It is the practiced art of stepping back, not from reality, but from the instinct to be buffeted by it. You train yourself to respond rather than react, to choose rather than be chosen, to act rather than be acted upon. Picture the great oak tree unyielding in the wind, its roots deep, its trunk firm. It does not fight the wind. It yields to it without breaking, bending only so far as to remain standing. Your mind must be such a tree. This mental sovereignty grants you clarity. When thoughts come racing, you do not chase them. When emotions rise, you do not drown in them. You are the observer, the commander, the master. Now, the discipline that breeds such mastery is rigorous. It demands sacrifice and persistence. It demands daily battle not with others, but with yourself. You will be tempted to return to old habits, the excuses that once comforted you like false friends. You will face moments when emotions threaten to overwhelm. You will confront distractions that lure you from your path. But in these moments, remember, every choice is a step either toward slavery or sovereignty. Each time you kill an excuse, you carve a notch in your mental fortress. Each time you refuse to react emotionally, you build a pillar of strength. Each time you act with clarity and purpose, you lay a foundation for your new life. Success is not a miracle. It is a consequence, the inevitable effect of disciplined cause. You are the cause. You are the architect. You are the victor. So rise now and forever as the master of your inner world. Command your thoughts with precision. Detach from all that weakens you. Cultivate the mental discipline that cannot be shaken. Kill the excuses that have held you captive. And begin here, now, without hesitation, to build your unstoppable future. Your new life is waiting. Zeitzit. The moment to master yourself is the moment to master your destiny. Stand tall, breathe deep, and begin. Because there is no power greater than a mind unchained. You stand on the threshold of transformation, a doorway forged by your own will, waiting for your decisive step. Behind you lies the wasteland of excuses, the barren fields of doubt and distraction. Ahead, the vast landscape of possibility, carved by the hands of those who dared to master themselves and command their destiny. Know this, the mind that refuses to yield, the soul that embraces discipline, the spirit that commands its own emotions, such a mind is invincible. It is a fortress built of iron resolve and tempered by relentless practice. It is the birthplace of all greatness. Remember always, the principle of cause and effect governs all things. To plant the seed of success, you must water it with mental discipline, nourish it with emotional detachment, and shield it from the weeds of excuse and despair. The harvest is assured for those who cultivate with unwavering purpose. Rise now with the certainty of a conqueror. Speak the language of victory in your thoughts, in your actions, and in your very being. Reject the chains of excuse that have bound you. Instead, forge chains of commitment and purpose that bind you to your highest self. Begin this day, this hour, this moment to build the life you deserve. With every thought commanded, every emotion mastered, every excuse slain, you grow stronger, closer to the summit of your potential. No more delay, no more hesitation. Kill the excuses. Master your mind. Take control of your inner world and start your new life today. The world awaits the greatness only you can bring. Step forward and claim it. This is the final call, the unyielding summons to rise and become the master of your fate. Begin. Now. Forever.